And now, I'd like to introduce today's commencement speaker and Penn State alumnus, Don Roy King. Don has directed more live network television than anyone in the history of the medium, including 16 seasons of a show that perhaps some of you know, NBC's Saturday Night Live. That work has earned him 11 Primetime Emmys and 15 nominations. He has also been nominated for 15 Directors Guild of America awards and won in 2013, 2015, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 2021. Don has won 2 other Emmys for his work, one for directing The Mike Douglas Show, and one for heading the design team that revamped the graphic look of CBS News. In addition, Don is the creative director for Broadway Worldwide, which brings theatrical events to theaters and international television. The company has produced 4 major productions, all directed by Don. The 2010 Tony-winning musical Memphis, Smokey Joe's Cafe, the Stephen Sondheim review Putting It Together with Carol Burnett, and the musical Jekyll and Hyde. In addition, he directed the screen version of Broadway's Romeo and Juliet, starring Orlando Bloom. Don is a graduate of Penn State with a degree in broadcasting and was honored with an alumni fellowship in 2001 and a distinguished alumni award in 2017. Welcome, Don Roy King.
Thank you, Dean Harden, and family, friends, faculty, guests, staff, welcome. And class of 2022, congratulations. You made it. How tough was that, huh? 2 years of isolation and frustration. You were people we thought, in my generation, might be a little bit soft, might be a little bit privileged. We were wrong. That pandemic hit, you faced it down, you sucked it up, you stayed at home, you took classes online, in your pajamas, drinking kombucha tea. Troopers! Hey, now I know that there were Penn Staters who eked out an education during the Depression and through 2 world wars, and in my case, with a selective service number hanging over our heads during the Vietnam era. But that was nothing compared to having a Q-tip jammed up your nose. Okay, the truth is that I know it was tough. I had a front row seat. My daughter graduated from Carnegie Mellon a year ago with a degree in theater directing. I said, Cameron, Broadway's closed. You'd be better off with a degree in typewriter repair. But she got a job in theater the very next day. She's been working in theater ever since. She's on her way, and so are you. You guys deserve a high five. Now, you'll probably get a few more high fives from your family and friends later this afternoon, but after that, you'll be at the same starting line we were all on. There's no stimulus package that's going to give you a head start here. But you do have one advantage, and that's me. I'm here to give some career advice and maybe break down some career myths. Now, I know I'm old and retired, and I can barely walk, and I'm kind of out of touch. A couple of years ago, I came back from the SNL Thursday music rehearsal, and my daughter said, how did it go? I said, I hate it when only some of the group bothers to show up to rehearse. She said, well, who's the group? I said, it's 2 Chainz, and only 1 Chain showed up. She said, Dad, 2 Chainz is 1 guy. I said, what? I grew up with Four Tops and the Dave Clark Five and the Kingston Trio, somebody should teach that guy how to count. So yes, I am out of touch, but I'm still going to give some career advice. Take it with a grain of salt or a slab of salt, but here goes. You probably think your first employer is looking for somebody with fresh ideas, for new ways to solve old problems. Probably not. What he or she wants is somebody with a good work ethic, people who show up on time, who do what they're asked to do, who do it the best they can, who offer to do more. People who smile, who say, I'll make the Starbucks run this morning. People who don't complain. Earn that good worker label first. And then raise your hand and say, how about this new idea? Yeah. You might have gotten this advice. Decide where you want to work and then do anything you can just to get your foot in the door. Just entry-level position in that big company. I don't offer that advice. It happens. I was at GMA when a guy named Annie Cohen came in as an intern. He became the assistant to assistant. He moved up through the company, eventually through the network, and then he became the president of Bravo. And then he became a big star. And now he makes a lot of money getting drunk with Anderson Cooper on New Year's Eve. Go Andy. But it doesn't happen as often as you think it does. Every place I've worked, the halls are filled with young, bright, talented, ambitious, but frustrated kids who get stuck in those entry-level positions. And the reason they get stuck is simple. The managers who are in charge of those hires say, oh, we finally found a guy who's great at answering the phones, thank God. He has a great work ethic, and he's learned the system, and he knows everybody's name, and everybody likes him. Now, there's a production assistant position opened up that he would kind of like or has earned a right to move up to, but he's never been a production assistant before, and we have to train him to do that, and we have to find somebody else to come in and answer the phones. Why don't we just keep him where he is, answering the phones, and we'll get an experienced PA from the outside to come in and fill that job, and he gets stuck. And most importantly, what he's getting better at on a day-to-day basis is answering phones. He's not getting better at writing and producing and directing. So my advice is this: if you can, get a job where you can get to do the kind of work you want to do the soonest. And that may not be a big company or a network. It may be a different market, a small market. It may be an advertising agency or a cable company, or just getting together with friends and making content for the internet. That's where you will improve your toolkit, improve those skills. Now, what if none of that works? You can't get an entry-level position, let alone a place where you can do the kind of work you want to do. And instead of selling shows to CBS, you're stocking the shelves of a CVS. Don't panic. That does not mean your dreams are shattered. There's some great advantages to that. It can be very empowering just to pay your own rent for the first time. You can crystallize that work ethic. You learn to work with people you like and don't like. You get to work with people you respect and don't respect. I found that my CVS job did explode into something bigger and more important. Here's one. Somebody will say, decide what your passion is and get on that path and sprint down it as fast as you can to get to that dream job. No, you do not have to decide today what you're going to do the rest of your life. Passions change and they wane and they fade and you find new passions. You might find that the passion that you thought you wanted, you may have dreamed that you would be to get a job in a local newspaper, and you finally get that job, and for the first 8 weeks you're doing nothing but covering the town hall meeting, and you say, I hate this. Well, you can find something new. You can make a left turn in your career when you're 30. You can make a U-turn when you're 50. I did. Unless you want to be a ballet dancer, you don't have to hurry up. Now, ballet dancers, the window is much smaller and your feet have to go in the right direction. I was married to a ballerina and her career was over almost as quickly as the marriage. Now, you might get this advice. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Yeah, sure, your roommate might have some family connection, and so she gets that dream job at a magazine before you do, and you say, that's the job I wanted, but I don't know anybody. No, I'm sorry, opportunities will even out. You will get your shot. And if you get it before you're ready, like she might have, that can set your career back faster than a felony. I say, when that opportunity comes, be ready and take some risks, and it's much better if that opportunity is based on merit. Okay, you will hear this. It's better to be a big fish in a small pond than a small fish in a big pond. I don't buy that one either. You don't even know how well you can swim until you're in the deep water. And if any of you have Ivy envy, and you think only those rich, entitled kids who went to those rich and entitled schools gets to swim in the deep pond, hey, I work with some real jerks who went to Harvard. And when I was here, I was beautifully prepared by Penn State. I found that the faculty here cared more about teaching than tenure, and I was ready. And when I came, I fell in love with theater. I thought, I want to be in show business. I want to be a storyteller. And I thought, oh, I don't have the guts to tell my dad I'm going to be an acting major. So I got as close as I could and moved into broadcasting. And there I discovered I had this penchant for directing live, multiple camera television. And I thought, well, I can use that skill set to be my entry into show business. And my first job was right here at WPSX. It was a black and white station at the time, PSU now. And I went to a small station in California, and then to KDKA in Pittsburgh, and then to 2 stations in New York, and to a syndicated talk show. And then I spent 21 years directing morning television, Good Morning America and CBS This Morning. And although that was challenging and rewarding work, at the end of those 21 years, I said, you know, I kind of sold out on my dreams here, because this is informational television. This really isn't show business. 16 years ago, I got the offer out of nowhere to direct Saturday Night Live. I said, there it is. That's my opportunity. That's my dream. And that is pure show business, a show designed to make people laugh and clap and think and feel and heal. And I said, this is it. And then I thought, wait a minute. Yeah, I've directed lots of live and lots of music and lots of news, and I've directed every genre that SNL makes fun of, but I've never directed actors in sketch comedy. I do not want to fail at this point in my life and my career. I don't want to stand in front of those brilliant people and say, hey, I'm the new director. I've never done this before. And then I thought, wait, failure sucks, but not as much as regret. And I don't want to look back in a couple of years and say, why didn't I try that? Maybe I could have done that. And so I jumped into that deep water, and it was more like an ocean, and there were tidal waves, and there were times that I did not know what I was doing. But it ended up being the 16 most challenging, rewarding, important years of my career. I'm so glad I did it. And that leads, thank you. That leads to this cliche that if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Hey, I love directing SNL, but there were many times I said, thank God it's Sunday. So it's okay to look forward to the weekend. One last aphorism, and that's this, that life is short, don't waste it. Now, I know I've been saying don't panic and don't rush, but I'm not going to dispel that one, because it's amazing how quickly you can go from boy wonder to I wonder why he's still around. My last birthday, I looked at the number, I said, oh my God, I've never been this old in my whole life. I said, that might be my downfall. It might be lengthened reaction time or memory lapses that'll be my Achilles heel. Nope. Turns out my Achilles heel is actually my Achilles heel. An old ankle injury that I got here at Rec Hall came out of retirement to send me into one. But here's my pep talk. Don't panic, don't rush, don't waste. Be prepared to raise your hand and say, I can do that. Raise your hand and say, let's all get together and save the planet. Raise your hand and say, I'll make the Starbucks run this morning. And while you're at it, how about this? Do me a favor and convince the rest of your generation to stop misusing the word literally. And while you're at it, stop overusing the word like. Like we went to this concert and like it was fire, and like they had a special guest. It was like 2 Chainz, and he was like so dank. Hey, here's the only proper use of that word. We, old people, don't like that. Which is probably why you do it, so forget that advice. Hey, dream big, beat Michigan. And go get them. You are Penn State graduates.